Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to Shred Sessions. We have Nashville hardcore band still here in the house with us today. So, boys, how we doing?
Good.
Doing good, man.
Chilling.
Awesome. Thanks for coming out. How's Nashville been treating you guys lately?
Pretty fucking well.
I'd say really well, yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So, for starters, like, let's just go around and have you guys introduce yourselves. Just tell us your name and what you do in the band, and we'll kind of kick it off that way.
So I'm Nick. I do vocals and still here.
Yeah. I'm Joseph Barnum, and I play bass.
I'm Greg Dowling. I play drums.
I'm Jake. I'm guitar.
Awesome.
And then we have another guitarist, Lane, who is stuck at work at the moment. But we love ya, and he plays guitar and really holds it down. So
heck yeah, man.
Yeah.
Sweet. So, walk me through like the beginning. Like, how did this band start? How did you guys like put this group together?
So in the beginning, we used to be a band called Purity Among Thieves. It was like an old metalcore band. It was originally a band that Joseph, a guy named Norman, and Lane were originally in. And then I met Norman in high school. And
Norman Reagan?
No.
Oh, okay.
No,
Different
this is a very different Norman. Yeah. A very good Norman,
He's
but
been
a
on the
different
show
Norman.
before,
Yeah.
so.
So we like did that whole thing for a while with Purity, and then rebranded essentially into Still Here.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, I met Lane through a mutual friend I was playing football in like 8th grade or something, and a guy next to me was like, "What are you listening to?" And I was kind of embarrassed, me like, Anti-Flag, and he was like, "I love that band." I was like, "You do?" Kind of thing. So that was cool, and we just bonded over that. And he was like, "I play guitar with a friend of mine." I was like, "Cool," and we met up with him, and it was Lane. So then that's where I met Lane. We started like an easycore band. We kicked out the mutual friend that we met him through and everything. He's a great guy. He was just running cross country and was like very, very good at that. So good on him. He chose the smarter route, but so met him through that. And then that band, it was an easycore band actually. And that was fun, but we kind of moved on from that, and then I went one route for a while, did a solo thing, and they did Purity for a while. And we all were friends and everything, and ran in similar circles. We're just doing our own thing, and then about, what was it, like 2021?
Yeah, like right before COVID.
No, I thought, yeah, it was either right before or right after or something like that, but they needed a bass player, and I joined up, and I was like, yeah, man, I'll fill in for a couple shows, and that was like, 4 years ago now and everything, so it's been
Very
a lot
cool.
of fun.
Now, did you guys make like an intentional decision to like be more of like a hardcore band? Because I feel like when I'm listening to your EP and your singles that you guys have out, it's definitely more of like a hardcore tinged thing. Like, and you were talking about how you used to be more metalcore. How did you guys come up with like the current sound that you guys have?
I'd say whenever we were doing Purity stuff, it was more, a lot of the guys were listening to like August Burns Red and stuff like that. And then just like the older we got, we just kind of wanted to switch over to the hardcore sound. And that's where kind of Still Here came from, is wanting that more raw hardcore sound.
Gotcha. Yeah. No, it's awesome, man. I really enjoyed the EP, and I really like the new song that you guys have, the more death metal one. I'm trying to remember what that one's called. Despair, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we had Josh Landreth feature on that one.
Oh, no kidding. That
was
sounds
rad.
heavy as balls, man. Holy cow.
We all were, we were in, Greg, wasn't that, we were in the basement at his old house, and we were just fucking around, weren't we, in that house?
Yeah. Was that during the Locust explosion?
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
Jesus Christ, yeah.
So let's hear about the Locust explosion.
Dude, okay.
I was on the news for that.
This was last summer, right? Yeah, last summer we were rehearsing at Nick's old house, and we show up. It's like down in this cellar, so you have to open the storm door. We go down there, and it's just like a plague. It's like, one of the death signs of life just ending. There's just like cicadas. It was cicadas.
Yeah,
cicadas.
Like
They might as well be
400.
the same thing, because it was just like biblical end times.
Dude,
we were
it's
like
awful.
trying to rehearse, and they were just flying out of my kick drum.
Yeah.
Like, I'd hit it, and they would be like one that was in like a hole on the drum, and they would just like start smacking us in the head. So we were like, all right,
It was so bad.
we'll come back next week when they're
I-
dead. Fuck this.
I loved that place, but it looked like something out of a Saw movie. You know, it was the
it was
perfect
bad.
spot for a metal band to practice, that's for sure. But fucking cicadas and spiders, and
Cave
it flooded.
crickets.
It flooded that one year and everything,
flood?
and we had to go in and clean it and
That was
everything.
bad.
Now, was this somebody's house or
It
was this
my
like a
house,
rehearsal
yeah.
space?
It
Okay.
was just a house I was renting. It was
Okay.
a piece of shit. It was so bad.
Yeah.
So you guys all live in Nashville now, right?
I
Or-
live in Murfreesboro right now.
Okay.
But I will be moving pretty soon.
Okay.
But
I think
been in Nashville a lot.
Nick and I are the only ones that currently live in Nashville.
Like in Nashville,
Yeah,
Nashville.
like
yeah.
Nashville, yeah. So I live in South. He lives in like
I
downtown.
live like
right
on
now.
Broadway. It's
Whoa,
so
dude.
bad.
And then Lane lives in Murfreesboro also. I actually live in Knoxville, Tennessee currently.
Oh, okay.
But I
Wow.
grew up here. I grew up in Murfreesboro, actually Christiana, Tennessee.
Yeah, I
if
know
you're familiar.
Christiana. Yeah,
I
out by
grew-
Shelbyville.
Yeah.
man.
I grew up out there. I went to college at UTK out there, and I stayed out there. I was gonna move back to Nashville, but found a job out there. Got a girlfriend out there that I love and enjoy hanging out with, and I like the area, and it's nice. It's close enough. I can come out here. I get best of both worlds of hanging out with my friends and playing shows, seeing family, and going back and being in an area that I like. And that hardcore scene out there is doing a lot of really cool shit. Shogun's doing really cool stuff. Deceit's doing really cool stuff. My buddy Shane is very involved out there and does a really great job. I want to get out to more of those shows, and I've been saying that for far too long, so it's time that I actually get off my ass and get to more of them out there. So, but
Yeah, dude, on a previous podcast, we were talking about, I was talking with the like Iconoclast guys, and we were like, what's the metric that you measure how hardcore someone is? And the only metric is how many shows you go to.
yeah.
So,
No, and it's the truth.
true,
Like,
right?
it's important, you know. I mean, I used to go to like almost it was mostly like Murfreesboro shows, so it wasn't just hardcore shows, but it was just like DIY anything shows
Yeah.
in Murfreesboro. But I used to go
Dad's
to those.
Garage.
Yeah, dude, fucking Dad's Garage,
I
man,
miss it.
is the best. It was.
I went to a show at Dad's Garage.
What show was it?
Man, I don't remember.
Was it hardcore or what? Like anything?
It was kind of a mixed genre show.
sounds about right.
But they were watching some podcast. I'm trying to remember the H3 podcast.
Yeah.
In the early days of that show, they were watching that like in between bands. It was super weird.
They
but
were
fun, but-
man, they were the fucking best. That's where I got mostly my start in outside of that easycore band that we started. That was the first band I started, but after that, I started going to a lot more shows in Murfreesboro at Dad's Garage, and everybody out there, Matt, who's in Lockstep, AJ, who does Bogues, which is very good as well, like, and a bunch of other people. They did a really cool thing out there. They were wild, man, and so much fun, but really ran it as professionally as you could, as a house show space
I thought they did a great job with that venue.
Yeah.
They
That was
did. I
sick,
mean,
man.
I saw Hanging Moon and Orthodox out there when I was like 15, 16. I wasn't even that big into listening to hardcore and things like that on my own, but I loved being at the shows and going to the shows, and I ran door for that show. And I'm pretty sure it was Orthodox and Hanging Moon. It was on their tour, and it was crazy. It was I met one of the owners of the house, or the guys renting it, because someone got knocked the fuck out during a band called 2x4.
Yeah,
And
dude, that was
they're
a
like from
super
Texas.
mosh band.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and they got like, this guy got rocked. Like, someone was coming in and doing that thing. It was huge, and a guy steps in and he got clocked with the back fist, but then also got clocked with the frontward motion in the same instant, and he was out cold before he hit the ground. And I was, I think that's when I met AJ, was when I was like helping. I was like 15, 16, scared shitless, you know, and like this guy's getting carried out, blood coming down and everything. And we get him out, and AJ's freaking out, you know.
Oh my gosh, man.
And be like, oh my God, the whole time. And he wakes him up and everything. He's like, can I go back in? He's like, no, you can't go back in. Like, go home or something. It was hilarious.
that's one thing that makes me nervous, man, about like house show venues is like the liability.
Yeah.
You
It's
know,
tough.
I guess like the property owner assumes the liability if someone gets hurt, you know?
Yeah.
So, but earlier I was talking with Nick about your background, man, with hardcore music, and
Yeah.
you were talking about how your dad is an 80s metal
Yeah.
guy. But yeah, walk us through how you got into heavy music, man, before our audio glitch happened.
Yeah. Yeah, so he used to run like a screen printing shop called Fox Concepts, and then I think it was called Merch Fits or something like that up in Dayton, Ohio. He did stuff for like Hawthorne Heights and Miss May I, and just like growing up around all that, seeing like the Miss May I flyers and like their shirts, I like looked them up, and I found a song called A Dance with Eric Cara, and I was like, damn, breakdowns are like kind of cool. And that's how I like kind of got into that whole realm with like the whole metalcore thing. And then from there I found like Terror, Backtrack, all that, Trapped Under Ice. Yeah, so that's kind of how all that's
very cool.
Yeah.
So dude, earlier you mentioned that you live like downtown Nashville. How did you end up like in a downtown spot, man?
It was, so I guess I was getting out of a relationship and I needed somewhere to go, and that was just the first place. It was like, yeah, we'll take you. I was like, sick. And then like living there, it's just like party buses, sirens.
Is it
screaming.
loud?
It's so loud. And I have concrete walls, and I'm on the 14th floor, but all night long, it's just screaming all night long.
Oh my gosh,
dude. I'm so ready for this lease to be up and to get out.
Okay. So planning on moving out a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, living in Nashville is so interesting. Like when I first came to town in 2012, you would just rent a house with your friends, like 4 or 5 friends, right? Yeah. And it used to be pretty affordable, man. It would be like $450 per person or something like that. Yeah. But every couple years it would go up. You know? So a lot of like the punk and hardcore people kind of got pushed out. Not because they're not like they don't have the means or something like that, but it's just the cost of living is insane. I think
it's so
to
bad.
rent a flat in the downtown area, it's got to be like $2,500, $3,000 a month.
And
like,
if it's not being torn down for a fucking hotel to go up, I mean, that's how 70s House ended.
Yeah.
Around here.
Right.
Well,
You know,
Belmont bought.
R.I.P. 70s, R.I.P. Dad's Garage, R.I.P. There's so many. The R.I.P. list is far too long.
Most of like even with the Murfreesboro like house show circuit, there's none left.
I know, it's really sad. Like, you know, I mean, I was a kid that couldn't go to shows because I was underage, or it was for bands that I didn't give a shit about. You know, there's only so many times I can go to a bowling alley and listen to a Freebird cover. You know, I mean, like, it's Dad's Garage and all those house show spots were, I mean, it was right in my backyard. It was way too important. It's kind of heartbreaking that there isn't as much of that.
I think there's a couple punk houses. I the names of these places escape me, but like maybe Gunk House.
Gunk House, CI, Brat Cave is still around. I think
there's absolutely
Mouthhole just ended.
Yeah,
like they had their final show, I think, like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
that was a great spot.
Yeah,
I love that spot. Yeah,
I just thought, you know, like originally house shows are more for like local bands, right?
Yeah.
But 70s House and even Dad's Garage, they started to host like touring bands, right?
Yeah.
So they were able to like really honestly generate an entire scene, you know, and bands could make a couple bucks, you know, playing, and fans were happy because it was like $5 or $10 to go to a show.
Yeah.
But yeah, lots of good mememories at 70s House.
That was my first hardcore show. Was that 70s House?
What was it?
Yeah, Offhand, Frail Body, Sicko, which was turned into a different band. I think I can't remember what they changed
I
into.
can't remember either, but
Lights.
I remember Sicko.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's incredible. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you guys released like an EP and a couple singles in 2023. And you mentioned that you're working on some new stuff. Can we talk about some of the new music that you guys are working on?
Yeah, so we're doing like a 7-song, I think it is, EP. Basically, like the whole theme of this EP is just like mental health and panic attacks. I've been going through a lot recently, so just like writing is like an escape. So I'm really excited to release all of this. We have a song where I kind of sing on with like some shoegaze elements, so I'm really cool to see how that's perceived in the scene.
Yeah, man. No, I love that stuff. I love shoegaze. That's rad. So as far as like writing like guitar parts and stuff, or like really just writing in general, like how do you guys approach writing music together?
Well, it kind of initially came up when me and Nick were talking before I joined the band. Nick was wanting to start like a new side project, and I wanted to get into a new band because the band I was in before had just broken up. But we were talking about the new Contention album that came out last year, and we were like, this is the scariest fucking thing I've ever listened to. How do we create that? So we kind of just used that as a launching off point for like demos, and I sent Nick a couple snippets of like ideas that I just kind of hashed together in like a couple hours in like Ableton. And they approached me about joining the band, and we kind of just used those songs as like a template to kind of expand them and give them more of like a contemporary, like modern metalcore flair to them, and like the sound and production and everything. Kind of just expand from there, and just kind of borrowing influences from bands like Knocked Loose, Boundaries, Vane FM, stuff like that.
Very cool, man. So you're like pitching ideas to Nick, and you're like do you guys make like complete instrumental songs and then throw it to Nick, or is Nick a part of like kind of the instrumental process?
That's kind of been our usual schedule, is just I send an idea to Nick. Nick tells me, I fuck with this heavy, like this is the heaviest shit
like,
I've ever
this
listened
shit's
to.
hard.
And whenever Jake was saying, like, I had known Jake prior, like we all had kind of known Jake prior and everything, and he sent the demos to Nick for that side project. Nick sent that to me, and we were throwing around the idea of getting another guitar player. We were a 4-piece for a while, which was fun, and it has its benefits and stuff, but like we were ready to figure something out and everything, and Nick sent those to me, and I was like, fuck a side project, like we're gonna make these some Still Here songs, like fuck this. And I called Jake that night on my way home to Knoxville after some show at Arcane. I forget what show it was, but
I was there too.
Yeah, he was there, and we had talked about it, and I called him that night, and I called Nick prior, and I was like, hey, can I just ask Jake to just be a part of this? And he was like, fuck it, let's do it. And I was like, yeah. And we knew that Lane, like we had talked with Lane and Greg prior to, like we knew that they were cool with it and everything and all that, but like we kind of pulled the trigger on it a little bit, kind of off the hip, and I'm glad we did. I mean, we have an EP out of it and everything.
Yeah, we kind of just scrambled it together in like a couple months, just the whole writing process, and even up until like recording, we were still kind of figuring out like ideas for like the songs and everything, like what sounded cool, what sounded too much like another song. Just trying to like work together to make sure everything sounded like as cohesive as possible.
Yeah, so you guys are talking about Hope Ran Dry right now, right? Your first EP?
This is referring to the new EP.
Gotcha.
Everything prior to that was just me, Nick, and a blend of our old drummers, Norman and Oliver. Because Norman had a hand in writing Bleed, right?
A little bit,
but...
and then Oliver kind of took over from there, and then that's where Greg came in.
Yeah.
Last month was my, 2-year anniversary?
Something like that,
Yeah, I think so.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. But yeah.
So, Greg, do you write your own drum parts, man? Or does Jacob write them for you and then you kind of like adapt them? Like how do you approach like drums?
So definitely part of the adapting. So Jake would have the ideas for the songs and would like demo them out. And the drum parts are always like super fucking fleshed out and beautiful. And I was like, I'll add my own flair to them in my own way, because I'll come from like a progressive rock drumming like, background.
Awesome.
So I'll add some like syncopated rhythms or different like polyrhythms in certain sections, but like the templates are always really handy because I'm not from a metalcore hardcore background, so it really helps to have that kind of like building blocks to work from.
Yeah,
and it's always super fun. Sometimes though it's challenging because the parts are like really good. I'm like, okay, this is good because I need to like work to get to these parts. Yeah, so it's a lot of fun.
We were practicing at one point in our old storage unit and trying to nail this one, and it was to me, not being a drummer, being like drumming illiterate, it sounds like an insane part. And so we had some interface and Jake's laptop and everything, but it wouldn't reach all the way. So I like sat in a corner and held the interface to where the headphones could reach to Greg. And we just hammered the song over and over again. I remember he got it like 2 or 3 times in a row, and I just jumped up. It was like, kind of thing. It was cool. It was really fun.
Teamwork, baby.
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
my brother grew up playing drums, so I kind of tried to understand that perspective of like how feasible certain parts are. And if there's something that's impossible, which Greg has told me a couple times, that there's some where it's like, this requires 3 arms. You know?
Some of it was like, that's
Why is the hi-hat going still?
And it's really funny. It's really funny when it happens to, like, we'll listen to stuff sometimes and I'll be like, oh, Greg's gonna be
It's cool. It's cool. It's just like, as a human, I don't know.
It's a fun balancing act to just kind of coordinate like what actually works for the song in both a live context and in like songwriting.
Right.
Yeah.
That's kind of the classic thing now that we have like drum programming tools. Like the guitar players are writing these just ridiculous drum parts, myself included. Like like the stuff I write a lot. I'm sure people can play it, but I like the fact that you like kind of took that extra step to understand drumming, you know?
Yeah.
And like I even played drums for a while. Like the room next to us was a drum studio when I first moved here and stuff. And so I was actually like pursuing playing drums for a while, but I realized that I liked guitar too much. So I was like, man, I'm not cut out for this.
Yeah, the opposite. When I was first learning how to play guitar.
Were you really?
In
I didn't know
church.
that.
They're like, we need a guitar player. I was like, I'll try it. And my fingers were way too fat. I was like, I can't do this shit. I can hit stuff.
Yeah, I can hit stuff.
Yeah, I can't play drums for shit either, so I would just like sit down sometimes and just watch like 856 videos or something of like people like drum cams of just like how do people approach like playing that part with like all their limbs, you know?
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
I can get through a set of playing drums if it's for like a simple indie band, and I have done it once before, but it did not go well. Not on their account, on mine, you know, but like I can fake my way through drums enough and everything, but I really do want to. I'm gonna need your help a lot, but I do very soon. I want to get an electric kit and practice it, and I know that's gonna piss my girlfriend off, but I'm willing to take that risk.
Dude, it's fun, man. It's just fun.
so fun.
It's a great way to get some frustrations out. You know what I mean?
You get to hit stuff.
It's a good like just mental stimulation as well, because you are coordinating just all of your limbs and like your left and right brain, just trying to figure out. It's almost like learning a new like vehicle.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like almost like a manual kind of shifter.
So, Greg, you mentioned like progressive metal stuff. Who are some of your like influences as a drummer?
So some of it's like more like neo prog, like Coheed. First 3 albums, I would just like memorize all of the drum parts, and just that would be like my practice, was just from album 1 to album 3, just play that for a practice session. And then
like Second Stage Turbine Blade,
dude, that In Keeping Secrets, Silent Earth 3, and then Good Apollo. And then
it's the classic.
So them and then like Circus Survive were huge influences, because Stephen Clifford from Circus Survive, he plays all these crazy polyrhythmic rhythms in their songs, and I was always like super just enthralled with how they would lay it down. And then a lot of like Between the Buried and Me. They were super. That Colors album was just it's a masterpiece.
It's iconic, man.
It is. And so them, so that was kind of like my second influence. It initially was like the Christian metalcore scene. So like I would try to do the metalcore, but it was all like I was in a church band, so I couldn't play like the double kicks during church rehearsals. I would still bring my double kick pedals, and on a Sunday service in this country church where it's like 30 people, I would lay down a couple of triplets in these like hymns from like 1845, and this woman would be like, "What's that sound?" Like, but then when I got into the prog, it was just like, okay, this is my lane. I like the time signature changes and all the cool accents and just lots of different cymbals and chimes.
I love that stuff, man. I did watch the new Dream Theater song last night. The video.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that video, man?
I don't know how to explain it, honestly.
It's like I feel like they showed up and were like, "Yeah, our budget's $1,500." Like we're Dream Theater, like we only have $1,500 for this video. It's like green screen, like we'll watch it later. I hate
I'm interested.
making fun of Dream Theater because I have such a high level of respect for them as musicians, but I'm just like, man, they need like a creative director in that band.
I agree.
Like, there's some aspects of the video that are good, but I like we couldn't believe what we were watching. Like,
It's crazy to see like a big, established band like that have just like weird music videos.
Yeah. So, dude, where did you grow up, man?
So I was born in Nashville, but was raised in like Spring Hill, Thompson Station area.
Okay.
And then my family moved to this little town called Santa Fe. It's spelled Santa Fe, but it's pronounced Santa Fe. And when I moved there from the Williamson County area, I was like, "Oh, so what's Santa Fe like?" And they're like, "What'd you say? You said Santa Fe? No, this is Santa Fe. We used to have 2 E's." They stole it from us. Like, what? What are you talking about? They'll beat your ass. Like,
It's like
all
a
right.
Mexican town here.
Yeah, I'm 12 years old. Sorry about this. Like,
Oh my gosh,
So,
man.
yeah.
The look, that's common though. Like, I'm from the Midwest, and there's a town called DeKalb, Illinois, but in Tennessee it's pronounced
Yeah,
DeKalb.
decab. Yeah.
that's like Demonbrian, like Demon
Yeah.
Brawn.
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, like if you say Shelbyville in Shelbyville, they're like, no, man, you live
Yeah.
in Shovel.
Or it's
And
like
Shovel. That's where I'm
Murfreesboro.
where I'm in right now. Like,
Yeah.
fuck out of here.
I like Murfreesboro.
yeah, Murfreesboro. Crazy.
That's awesome, dude. So you grew up just playing drums at church or playing guitar at church?
Yep.
Okay.
They just asked if
Like Southern gospel music or hymns
it was
or
a
modern
Nazarene
worship?
church, so it would like incorporate some hymns, but then also like we would do like some like 1,000-foot crutch and
A little bit of
like,
rock.
Switchfoot, yeah,
Yeah.
that, and then
Some dreadlock
like,
rock, dude.
Hillsong United. I still have flashbacks to some of that stuff. Like we did this one hymn called "Nothing But the Blood," and we turned it into like kind of a metal like cover.
Blood.
Yeah, Nothing But the Blood. Like, so it was fun. And I all those guys I was in the band with, they're still friends to this day. And the youth pastor I had, David Donarajan, he was like who got me into music. And to this day, like he's come to shows with other band I was in. It was 20 years later. It was awesome. Just he was like, I got you into drums, dude. And now you're doing this stuff.
Now you're killing it,
yeah,
dude.
it's cool.
I grew up similar background, man. I went to more of like a Northern Baptist church, and they kind of leaned towards like the corporate type, like big business church,
Yeah.
kind of like
Welcome.
as I was going into like high school and college,
Yeah.
but like, dude, I really have to give a lot of credit where it's due in terms of just like playing guitar every Wednesday and Sunday from like 7th grade all throughout college, and then like
It puts
like,
you through the ringer too. Like,
oh yeah.
Some
And
of
it
the
was
best
competitive
players.
too.
Yeah.
Like we would compete with the other guitar players. Like, no, dude, I'm playing on Sunday, bro. See, I've got the songs now.
Dude, we had the good drummer and the bad drummer, and I was the bad drummer. And
Not anymore.
The good drummer was like, at some
Yeah.
point, I started to just like practice a lot more, and then he's a good buddy of mine, Graham, and he was like, "All right, I'm just gonna let you take the reins, buddy." I was like, "Really? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Thanks, man."
Well, it's just good to go through that process as a musician, even as like a band, like listening to other bands in the scene and being like, well, why does everybody like this band so much? Like, and you kind of listen to them and you're like, well, what is happening in their music that triggers this kind of like
Right.
response? And then trying to like maybe incorporate some of those elements in your own music, like the stuff I write is just, it's so technical, everybody just kind of stands there and watches, like,
Yeah.
You're like, are they enjoying this? But they're just analyzing, like, okay.
but
this
I've
is
really
nice.
enjoyed going to hardcore shows more recently and just seeing people just pop off to just a really simple groove,
Yeah.
a really simple guitar thing, a hi-hat beat,
I've noticed a
like-
shift from like the prog scene where, because most of the people that are at those shows are likely musicians themselves.
Yeah.
So they're watching and like paying attention, like, okay, what pedals do they have? What rhythm is that? Like, what time signature is that? So like, it looks like they're not having a good time because they're just analyzing, but they are having a good time. But then transferring to the hardcore scene, it's just like straight groove, and everybody's going crazy. It is
Yeah.
so cool. It feels like just a true community. I love that element.
they want that release, man. They want like, that's been a theme like with the last few episodes when I talk with Claire, the Iconoclast guys, and people crave this community, right? And maybe they used to go to church or something like that, but they need that third place, and I think hardcore kind of serves that purpose.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
To a degree. I don't think it's going to replace Jesus, but if you're into
I bet
Jesus,
Jesus likes hardcore music though.
but yeah, he might
cool.
he might think it's
He's supposed to be
sick.
perfect. He should like hardcore music if he's perfect, kind of thing. Like,
Well,
He's like, this is all right. I like these guys.
I think he likes us. I think he likes us.
Yeah.
I mean, the coolest hardcore bands are the ones dedicated to him. If you think about it, like Under Oath and fucking, I don't know, Switchfoot.
Yeah. We'll call Switchfoot a hardcore band.
Sure, yeah.
That riff
They
is
got
hard.
riffs. We were just jamming over it last night, and we were
absolutely
like, "Damn, this
I'll
shit's
stand by
heavy, dude."
it. I'll stand by it. I'll defend everyone. I'll defend it all in the comments. I don't
It's got a mosh beat.
Yeah, dude, that's a mosh beat.
Yeah, man. I mean, everything comes from Christ, in my opinion. Everything good in the world, but this is not a Christian podcast, although I am a believer. But I love talking with people that come from all kinds of different backgrounds, different beliefs, and different thoughts. It's been really cool to do this show and talk about a variety of things. But I want to ask you guys, like, with your new music that you're putting out, that's about to come out. How did the writing process? How is it different from some of the first releases that you guys have?
I'd say this one, we kind of made the concept to be around like a panic attack. So whenever I was writing, I kind of like wanted to, from song 1 to song 7, be like the transition of a panic attack.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
So just like lyrically, it just kind of follows that. There's like a few lyrics where I'm like, I want to beat the shit out of you. But like other than that, but like, yeah, I'd say previous releases, we didn't really like have a concept for anything. It was just kind of like I was writing whatever I wanted. But this one, I would say from song 1 to song 7, it's just kind of like what it feels like to have a panic attack. And just kind of like centering mental health and just like suicidal like ideations and that whole vibe.
Man, why do you think that stuff is so common like these days? If you could like put your finger on like the pulse of like why, because I feel like that's a common thing. Like people, maybe it's the technology and social media and stuff, but like that's a common theme, man. Talking to people in bands and talking to young people is like this maybe lack of stability or lack of like self-regulation. Like why, in your opinion, like why do you think those things are happening?
I want to say hardcore is such a release. Like it's such a community in the sense of like you go there to let out your emotions. And this whole genre is just like raw in the sense of like, this is like what I'm feeling. And I want you to feel this too. If you're feeling this too, then listen to what I'm saying. And maybe we can connect in that sense.
Yeah. That's interesting, man. So
I think we all come from it in a way. You know?
Yeah.
Like I think to some extent, some worse than others and stuff. I mean, that's how I kind of found my way to it. I think that's how everybody kind of finds their way to it every now and again. You know, I mean, yeah, like everything Nic said, I think he kind of hit the nail on the head with it.
I think with anything creative, it's almost like things that, with how certain just music or art or whatever, sometimes it culminates from the lack of being able to explain an emotion or a feeling. And so when in terms of like the more like the sadness and suicidal ideations, I think the music can really culminate with that. And also it is relatable with whatever someone's going through. You can just have like a 2-second soundbite of a song or like the hook of a song, and it hits an emotion in your head that just attaches to you. And then it's like you're hearing that emotion that you can't explain in your own head. And it's like, oh, that's what I'm feeling. I don't know how to say it, but that hit something.
Yeah.
And that's just, you latch onto that, and then you'll repeat the song, 20,000 times. You're like, okay, I've heard this song a lot. I've listened to this a lot.
Yeah. Well, I think that's like what music is in a way. It is like it's a way to color your life, and escape reality. But there's also like this way of putting your thoughts, your lyrics into music, into an art form, and other people can connect with it because they're on the same wavelength. They've had similar experiences, right? And it's like, oh, finally someone's telling my story in this song, because not everybody can make music, right?
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of hard work to put, you know, your thoughts together, to collect your experiences and you know, record your music and do all the technical stuff and release it on DistroKid or, you know, whatever it is. Like
Shout out
DistroKid.
DistroKid.
Anytime you want to sponsor this podcast,
shout out DistroKid.
yeah. So like, I think it's cool that you're writing music with those. Those are difficult topics to touch, man. And I think you're really courageous and bold for like wanting to write tunes about that stuff.
Yeah. I think like getting into the whole like metalcore and hardcore scene, like growing up, like I was like a gamer playing RuneScape as a kid. I didn't really have a lot of friends, so like hearing a lot of those lyrics, it was just like, oh, other people feel the way I do. That's kind of sick.
Yeah.
And then just like feeling like the community of like the whole scene.
Yeah, you're not alone, man. And like, gosh, man, during the pandemic, I felt like people, well, they quite literally were like put in boxes, right?
Yeah.
And so people felt alone, and so you kind of take to the online space to connect with other people, which I think is good in many ways, but at the same time, like there can be echo chambers, there can be like really dark stuff on the internet. You can run into some really wild people, you know, that put really hurtful comments on videos or whatever. But yeah, I just think that's cool that you guys are writing music that touches on that stuff.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We've all always felt, I feel comfortable speaking for all of us, like we've always felt comfortable doing that, you know. I mean, like I come from that same background of getting into music because I was feeling alone, and then I found bands that made me feel less alone and everything, and you know, now like 15 years later, I'm playing in hardcore bands, like just trying to do the same thing. It's important. Like I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for certain bands and just music in general and stuff. So as long as we can, I don't give a fuck if it's 2 people or 2,000 people or whatever, like as long as we're able to kind of continue that cycle for somebody, like I don't give a shit what we do, you know. That's always been my main goal with music. Everything else is just an add-on, you know. And it's nice, like every now and again with this or other projects, like we've all been able to experience that feeling in some way, that we've been able to like touch something or been able to help in some way, shape, or form, whether it's just giving somebody a night where they kind of forget about some shit and they get to go and mosh with their friends or listen to something or whatever. Like, you know, it's important. It's really important, and I don't think any of us are scared to talk about that shit. At least we shouldn't be.
Yeah.
You know?
I think if I'm able to touch someone like I was touched when I was like 14, 15 years old listening to this music and make them feel heard, I think I'm good on that. Like if I can at least have one person feel like heard, then I'm good.
Yeah.
That's awesome, bro.
That's always been like my personal definition of like doing it, like did it kind of thing, you know, like everything else is a bonus. You know, listen, playing like Wembley or some shit like that'd be real cool, don't get me wrong, or whatever, but like, you know, that's all I think we're trying to accomplish. And on top of that, just having fun and putting out stuff that we like and that we want to listen to. And everything, and not truly, I mean, we care to an extent, but you know, not giving a shit what everybody else thinks about it kind of thing. You know.
Nick, I heard that you have a zine.
I do.
WTF zine.
Yeah.
Can we talk about that, man?
Yeah, so me and Jack from Bad World basically just wanted to start this because we didn't feel like there were enough zines in Nashville. And we just wanted to get as much publicity for like local bands and like kind of like local tattoo artists and like local shops for what's kind of going on in like the hardcore sort of scene. And after starting that, I noticed like a few other zines started popping up. So that was really cool, kind of starting that and then seeing like the flow of other zines coming up. It was also really cool kind of like interviewing other bands like Stray, Orthodox, bands like that.
Yeah.
Didn't you do Koyo too?
Koyo, yeah.
Yeah, you interviewed a lot of people with that with all the photos too.
Is that like a text interview? Like you send them like a
yeah,
list of
so
questions?
I'm so socially awkward that I can't go up to people and I'm like, hey, can I interview you? No, I just like email and text them, and then I do photos, so I'll just put like my photos to their interviews and kind of do it that way.
Very cool, man.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. So, how long has the zine been going for?
Fuck, it's been maybe a year. We've only done 2 issues. Me and Jack have been talking about doing another one. It's just really hard because like me and Jack both are so socially awkward that like we can't go up to bands and be like, hey, let me interview you right now. And then we'll just get like a lot of like no responses for interviews. So we're trying to figure out a way to kind of alter the way that we're doing the zine in a way.
Yeah.
But yeah, just kind of like giving back to the hardcore in a cool way with like a physical, like, hey, these are the bands that have been coming through Nashville.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I had Will and Sean from Iconoclast on.
Homies.
I think they're on issue 5, I think it's going to come out in the next like month or so.
Yeah. They definitely have a way better structure than me and Jack have.
No, I haven't checked your zine out. I should have had you bring one, but I just think it's such a cool like resource for people that are into hardcore and metal, and they want to know what's going on, man. They want to be in the know, like what's the cool thing, like. And I even had this sitting on my table, and one of my local Clarksville guitar students, she started like going through it and was like, I want to learn this kind of music, like just by looking at the zine. She was like, I want to learn this. And I was like, well, there's a lot of hardcore bands. Like, let's try to find one that you like. And then I showed her like Turnstile, and she was like, no, I don't like this. I showed her the new Turnstile album.
Not a Taco Bell fan. Got it.
She was like, I just don't like his voice is just like so moody. And this girl's like 12 years old or something. But I was like, I don't know. It's got a couple million views on the video.
It's really cool because we sell in like Grimies and like a few other stores, and just like knowing that people are like buying like something me and Jack did, it's just like, damn, we're like actually like spreading Nashville hardcore to people that maybe don't know like what's going on.
And people in other scenes want to know about it too. Like people even on other parts of the world, right? Like Iconoclast, like I think every time they do an issue, they make like 10 for like this dude in Denmark.
That's wild.
Or something like that. Like he wants to stock it in his like record store. That's right. So that's really cool. So where can people find WTF Zine?
So I think right now we might have a few at Gorilla Biscuits. I know we have some at Dead End Records, I want to say it's called, and then Grimies as well. I think we have a few left. But me and him are working on issue 3 right now. So it's kind of like a new thing in the works, but they'll probably be at the same places like Dead End Records, Grimies, Gorilla Biscuits, and then just like any pop-up show that Bad World is vendoring, we'll just have it like on the table. We kind of wanted it to be something like you can't really order it online. Yeah. You just have to go to a show to get it. That was kind of the whole thing.
What Sean and Will, that's kind of their thing. I think they do ship theirs, but they sell out. Yeah. Like they're like, we only have 5 left. Yeah. And I was like, you only have 5 like bring your magazine. I wanted like one of each issue. Yeah. like they're like, no, man, they're gone. I was like, what? Like, so they brought me like issue 4, which was very, very kind of them to do that. But no, I think it's awesome, man. It's such a cool resource for people that are into the scene. And I think like, from what I can tell, there's a massive resurgence of hardcore
1000%
bands. Like there's so many new bands, and like Sean's keeping up with all the new bands in his zine. And but what are some other bands that you guys have played with or played shows with, or even that you haven't played shows with that you really dig in the current scene? And we maybe start with Nick, and we can just kind of go around.
I'd say Lethal Method for sure. Other than that, there's a new band, I want to say they're called Eat Lead, that just came out. They're sick. Circuit, Dogpile for sure.
Yeah.
Article 5, RIP. Those are the ones that come kind of like off the top of my head.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of who we've played
Lockstep.
Oh, yeah. Lockstep, Matt's a homie. All of them are homies, but they're great. man, Achilles heel, Vital Part,
Shout out Vital
RIP.
Part.
Man, everything at the half wall. I can't fucking speak all of a sudden, but half wall was super sick. God, we've played with a handful of it. We played with was it His Purity that we played with Crowbar?
Yeah.
We played with
Purity.
Crowbar, and that was fun. Played another show at the Basement East. I'm trying to think of it. He really said all the ones that I came loaded to say. I love Circuit and everybody in that band. Officer Down is super sick.
Down.
Man, there's so many good bands in Nashville that everybody should really go see. God, yeah, you really took.
I took all.
You stole them all.
Oh,
dude. You
yeah,
stole all
fuck
my favorite
you,
bands.
man.
I'm at all the shows.
It'd be fun to
Yeah.
play with Harm's Way. That's
Yeah,
one.
Harm's
That's
Way
one I
would be
would like
cool.
to open for one day. That
Yeah.
would just be sick as fuck.
Are they still active?
Yeah.
pretty.
Oh,
Yeah,
I think so,
yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
They were one of the first hardcore bands I kind of got into, which was weird. You know, like I took a weird path into all that and everything. But I'm trying to think of other bands that we've.
Well, you guys are opening for Terror at the end of
Dude,
October,
sick.
or
We're
October
pumped.
4th, right at the end.
Dude, I'm
Yeah.
so stoked
Yeah.
for
So
that.
talk
gonna be
about
fun.
how that happened, and if you guys want to mention bands too, like we can
Yeah.
circle back to that. But
I'm good friends with Adam Easterling. We used to work together at an agency, and he just out of the blue kind of just hit me up, was like, do you guys want to open for Terror? We were originally trying to book like an EP release show around this new project that we have coming out, but then he prompted us with that, and I was just like, yeah, everybody's gonna say yes, obviously. So
Yeah.
we
I'm
just
so fucking
confirmed
stoked.
it right
so
there.
sick. I kind of couldn't believe it. I was like, "Yo, Terror? All right, cool, let's do it." Yeah, I don't give a shit what I
he
got that
initially
day.
opened with a cool opportunity, which I was like, okay, what is it? And he was like, Terror. I was like, yeah.
that's kind of the opportunity,
Yeah.
bro.
The opportunity.
Oh, we've played with Ingrown. We've played with Wilt Wither. We played with oh shit, I had more, but there's damn it. All right, sorry, it'll come back to me. later.
Callous Dowboys was one that
Oh,
we played with back in
Dowboys was-
December.
yeah, that was a
156
fun show.
Silence.
Love that point. 156.
We just played with Southpaw back in
Yeah.
May. On My Life from Knoxville was another cool one
Yeah.
that we just played with. This was before I joined the band, but y'all opened for Zayo.
Oh yeah,
back in
yeah.
August.
That was fun. It's nice to be in a position where we're trying to remember all the bands that we've played with and we're missing. There's absolutely a ton of great bands that we're missing here. Like they're just not coming up on the spot and everything. But it's nice to be in that position as opposed to like.
Have you
we've
guys
only played
seen
2 shows.
Live at the Church by Zayo? The video that they
Yeah.
that's unbelievable, man.
Yeah.
Like
I don't think I have.
you should
No.
go home and like maybe we'll put it on later. But
Yeah.
we're hanging out, but yeah, that I love that the way it's filmed, like the
Is that the one where they like break up on stage?
Yeah,
no,
what?
it's more of like a controlled like performance of just some of their best, like most well-known songs, but it's executed so well, man, and it's very artistically shot, and it's like watching a movie of a metal band
Hell yeah.
do what metal bands do, you know.
Yeah, they still got it.
it's unbelievable, man.
They still got it.
But yeah, playing with
Um,
Terror is going to be so much fun. And it's like a weird, like, it's not our like EP release show because I mean, for God's sakes, like Terror is headlining. It's a Terror show for sure. But it's like
Yeah.
it's our first show after the EP is out, you know, and everything. So we're really, really excited about that. It's wild to think because we saw them at LDB.
Yeah.
Play to like whatever capacity that is. Like, what is that? Like somewhere around like 5,000 to 7,000.
10,000.
Yeah, like
100.
something like you know. I mean, like, so it's wild to see them headline that, and then we're gonna open for them. Is really.
It feels kind of full circle because I was like one of the first hardcore bands.
I actually
ever
didn't know
got
that was
into.
one of the first ones you got into. Was
Yeah.
I thought you were more into but I mean I met you later than Lane and stuff, so I thought you were more into like Miss May I, Chelsea Grin, stuff like that. My first show seeing do anything, you did this like a gnarly pig squeal during
For that Chelsea Grin cover.
that Chelsea Grin cover at
I definitely
Autograph
had my
Studios.
deathcore.
Oh yeah, you
Yeah.
got a deathcore background for sure, and that it's awesome, and I think it shows in the best ways sometimes with
Yo, do hardcore kids fuck with deathcore?
Yes.
yeah.
I'd say in a
Yes.
sense, I'd say breakdowns. You gotta have a good
More
breakdown.
specifically, like the newer wave of deathcore with
Girl
bands
of
like
Glass.
yeah, Girl of Glass, Sanguisugabog, Corpse Pile from Texas. All these like new Texas bands are so fucking sick. With
And there's
like,
a lot of hardcore bands that have elements of it. I mean, I'd argue that No Cure has deathcore elements a lot of the time. And everything, too.
more
like,
kind of.
I would say more death metal.
Yeah,
Death metal.
Same with
Yeah,
Sugar
for
Bomb
sure.
2 is more, to me, more of a death metal band, not deathcore.
Yeah.
I guess just by
But-
technical definition, I would consider it that way because it really is bridging the gap between like those audiences. Because I feel like back in the 2000s, it was very idiosyncratic in the way people kind of perceive these genres. Like a band like Peeling Flesh should not make sense at like LDB or Sound and Fury, but it does now,
bro.
because of just what their audience is.
And it's weird because you're constantly like splitting hairs between all of that, you know, between like hardcore, metalcore, death metal, deathcore, all that stuff.
It's
You're
kind of
constantly
just a
splitting
big
hairs
melting
with it.
pot
Yeah,
now. Yeah.
you know, like that's why I always just like I think on like shirts we've put out in the past, we've always just put out like Nashville heavy because we've always been scared of like Jesus, like I don't want to call ourselves a metalcore band, and someone would be like, "Well, that's not." You know, it's like fuck you. Like we'll put whatever we want.
It does
out,
feel
kind of thing,
wrong
like-
to sometimes call ourselves like hardcore though, because I
Yeah.
feel like we kind of
We're definitely
borrow so
metalcore,
many-
but in the sense
Yeah.
we're in like the hardcore community, so it's like
Yeah. It's like more of an ethos than anything a lot of the time. It's yeah, I mean it's all of it is super like bastardized and everything. And that's one of the things that I love about it, really. You know, it's like everyone has their own definition to it and everything, which is really cool and I think is kind of important. It's like a sense of autonomy in a way
yeah.
and everything.
Yeah, there seems to be like this, like you mentioned, like an underlying ethos with like these different bands, whether they're more death metal tinged or more hardcore. Like it's more of like I guess it's like the DIY spirit, you know, kind of doing things yourself. And the other kind of underlying string I would think is just writing music that makes the crowd move, right?
Right.
Whether you're
Yeah.
deathcore, metalcore, hardcore. I think that's like an important element of being labeled hardcore. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
And I think it's also contingent on like what the members' backgrounds are in that space. You know, like the Peeling Flesh guys come from like all across like the Oklahoma scene. Like the vocalist was playing in like hardcore bands prior to doing vocals for Peeling Flesh. So I think that's kind of like there's been like a sudden uptick in like just hardcore bands shifting more into like heavier, more aggressive styles of music, even beyond like just like your normal like hardcore like D-beat kind of standard.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I would have never imagined a band like Peeling Flesh being like as popular as they are. Like Slam was like the bastard stepchild of metal. It was like, ew, you like that?
Yeah.
Like, but now it's like, it's sick, man. Like, we had Abated Massive Flesh on too.
Dude,
You guys
oh,
know
yeah.
about them?
I love Matt
They're
so
cool.
much.
Dude, man, Plunkett.
Yeah,
Let's
those
go.
guys rule. You need to play a show with them if you can. I love
Hit
that
us
band
up,
so
please.
much.
Hit us up. We will play any show you ask.
But yeah, back with Peeling Flesh, like when they just started putting like the kind of like hip hop tinged slam metal recordings out,
Right.
I was like, this is this is the best thing I've ever heard. Like, you know,
Right.
like in a long
bands
time.
are getting so experimental now, and it's so cool to see just like internet culture kind of bleeding through in like a lot of this modern like deathcore music, and like kind of like both ironic and like also just like showing appreciation for other styles of music in like a really cool way that doesn't feel like phoned in or gimmicky in any kind of way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm curious how you would describe like a band like Chad Pile in terms of stylistic.
How I would describe them?
Because I feel like they do have like a hardcore element, but also like noise, you know, like doom in some parts, but like
I would put them in like kind of the avant-garde
Yeah.
kind of side of things. I'm trying to compare them to other bands. It's difficult to.
they're so.
But yeah, that
I had to
band's
mention
really
that.
really
Yeah.
unique. Yeah, their use of just like their guitar sounds and the vocal style too is really, I haven't heard anything like that before. But yeah, I would say they're a type of experimental hardcore, experimental avant-garde band. What, like, do you have a favorite record of theirs, or?
Definitely Cool World, like the latest one. Well, actually, no, they put out something like a couple of days
I'm gonna
ago.
look it up because I need to listen to more
I haven't
Chad
had the
Pile
chance to
anyway.
listen to it, but Cool World was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like Frownland off of that record, I probably listen to it at least 3 or 4 times a day, just because that rhythm on the drums and just the overall energy in that song, it just gets me so hyped. Even if I'm just like going to get the mail, I'm just like, I'm gonna go get the mail. Let's go.
That's sick, man. That's awesome. So you guys are playing a fest in Gainesville, Florida.
Yeah.
At the end of October. Let's talk about that. How did you guys get asked to play the fest? Have you guys played a fest like this before? What are your expectations?
I think this is
Start
our
with you,
first
Jacob.
This is our
time.
first real like fest. You know, we've played some things before that were like labeled like fests and things like that were kind of more so like longer than usual shows and stuff. This is kind of our more like traditional festival that we're playing. And Jake had a contact, and we were just kind of and Greg brought it up. So it's kind of really truly a team effort of everyone being like, hey, the fest in Gainesville would be cool. And I was like, fuck it, won't
It's
hurt
so
to send an
cool.
email. So I like sent a pitch email, and dude from Fest was like, yeah, here you go. Here's your offer. And the offer had PBRs in the offer letter, which was hilarious to me because I think they're sponsored by him or something like that. But it was still hilarious to me seeing beers in an official like offer sheet.
Sounds
and
very
stuff.
Florida to do
Oh
that.
yeah, super. But like we were thrilled about it. So we've kind of planned like a short like tour around it and everything too, which is going to be really great. Where maybe by the time this is out, it'll be announced. We're close to announcing it, but it'll be Huntsville, Atlanta, which is going to be a really cool show. Both of those. And then Gainesville. And then a couple days later, we're playing in Greenville, South Carolina with Wilt Wither. And that's going to be a whole lot of fun. And we're going to get to spend a couple days and go see some really cool bands at Fest for like almost free if you ignore like gas, and stuff like that,
Yeah.
like we're getting free admission to the festival. So like we thought about trying to get some shows on that Friday and Saturday. We play on the Sunday at the
Woolly.
the Woolly, not
yeah.
the Ox. Yeah, the Woolly. We're playing at the Woolly.
I'm pretty sure that's like the Holy Ghost Tabernacle's last show.
Oh,
Ever.
for real?
Really?
Yeah.
They're cool. They're
That's
really
their last
cool.
show ever.
We played that show, or Stay Lost did, in New Orleans, I think.
Yeah.
No, Savannah.
Yeah, one of those.
With them, like with a couple of those guys. But anyway, that's gonna be a really, really cool festival. We're gonna spend a couple days in Florida. It might still be warm enough to where we might be able to go dive in the ocean real fast or something if we. I think Gainesville's more inland, but fuck it. Like we'll
It's
figure
like
it
an
out.
hour outside of Jacksonville. It's not
Yeah.
too far from
But
the
there's
beach.
some really cool bands that are playing. I think Propaganda is on it.
Yeah.
And everything, and I'm really excited to see them. Like I come from more like a straight like punk kind of
That's
background.
a great band, man.
Dude, RX
Yeah,
Bandits
cool.
is
I
playing.
want to say
Yeah.
Bane is playing.
Bane
too.
is playing.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's so many good bands. Laura Jane Grace was on it, but I think they're off now. Is
Yeah.
that right? Yeah.
Yeah. We were supposed to play with Bullets Between Tongues too, but they just broke up like this month, I think.
Ah,
So,
shit.
Mm.
All right. Well,
Unfortunate.
yeah.
The fest is cool though. I've been there once in like 2017, and my cousin he got a photo pass. He was like, "Do you want to do a press pass?" I was like, "What do I have to do?" He's like, "Just write an article." I was like, "Oh, okay." I've never done that. But sure, it's like get you in for free. So that year it was like Lagwagon, Masked Intruder, Cursive, and bunch of bands. But I'd never been to a music festival. Like that was the first one, and it was just like hardcore and punk, and it was like the nicest people. It was so cool to be a part of that, and like shout out to 5 Star Pizza. They're open until like 3 a.m. So you're just pounding PBRs all day. You're like, they're still open. Let's go.
Yeah.
They're lifesavers. But
My-
it's a good spot.
My girlfriend lived in Gainesville for a while, so I got a lot of good like food recommendations and shit. And 5 Star is actually, she used to go to 5 Star a ton.
No,
so
classic.
slices.
No, I like festivals because like everyone's there, and you make fast friends too with other bands, and it's just more convenient to see a lot of bands, right? There's
Right.
so many in a small space, and it's like I can hit a lot of bands that maybe you've never heard of before, or maybe that you wanted to see, and the accessibility too, like you mentioned, like you're gonna go watch other bands play, so you're gonna rub shoulders with a lot of not just fans but other bands. Like I just think that's a it's a great thing. So
And you're all
that
there for
sounds
one
fun.
purpose.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
just seeing music. Everybody
Right.
at least agrees on something. So it's like we're all
And
just
that's kind of
here
a
to have
reason.
fun.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but like that's a reason we were kind of blurry. It was like a scheduling thing too, because he's got like a wedding to be a part of and everything. But like it'll be really cool to just be there for a couple of days and just get to go see some bands and hang out, and also like try to make some connections. You know, I mean, it's hard. You don't want to make that your only goal in conversations with people and everything, but it'll be nice to hopefully make some good connections there and just like gain friends with people, party with people, you know, go see some really awesome bands. Like I'm going to be a propaganda whether all of y'all are there or not. I don't give a fuck. Like I will be a propaganda. So if you can't find me, I'll be there.
I won't be there for 2 days, so y'all need to have like
that's-
extra fun.
Yeah, we will. I'll have some extra fun for you for sure. There's a bunch of other bands that I can't remember off the top of my head that are on there that I'm going to lose my shit for. I think Less Than Jake is from there, and they play it like once every other year or something, and I wish they were playing it this year, and that would have been fun and everything, but yeah.
Rad. So when does the new record come out, guys? Like, do you guys have a release date set?
Yeah, September 19th.
Okay. Nice,
Yeah,
man.
uploaded today.
So I think this episode will be out right around the same time that comes. It'll come out on the Monday of that week. So
Word.
Then it's out this past Friday or whatever day it was. Yeah.
yeah, man. So well, that's awesome, guys. Congrats. What advice would you guys have to any young musicians that want to be in a band or want to do what you guys do? And maybe we could start with Nic, like, because I think there are some young folks that watch the show, and I think they'd like to hear from you guys about that. So
I'd say go to shows, 1000%. Pick up a camera, start a zine, anything like that to get involved in your scene. I wish I would have done that earlier in my age. But yeah, I'd say go to every show you can, try to get involved, talk to everyone you can, try to start a band. Literally everyone in the scene is trying to start a band. So just talk to people, and just try to connect with anyone you can.
love it.
Yeah, to kind of piggyback, like, go to shows, and for me personally, instead of like picking up a camera because I can't take photos for shit and everything, like
Me either, dog.
like pick up a guitar, pick up drumsticks or something like that, or pick up a mic, like and most of all, just go have fun, without sounding so like existential or some bullshit. Like life is short and full of not fun stuff, but just go have fun with it. Go have fun with your friends. Go write stuff that you care about, whether it's good or not, put it out. Who cares? Just go have fun and don't give a shit what anybody else thinks about it. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I would say just be your genuine self. Like, don't be afraid to be yourself, because everybody at shows, they're there for one purpose, is just to have a good time. And I feel like sometimes with younger kids at shows, they'll be a little bit more standoffish because they're like these, it's like an older crowd. I don't know anybody. So everyone is approachable. Like, you can say hi or have fun in the mosh pit. And like, if somebody falls, first rule is, pick them up, make sure everybody's okay. And also, like, if you're forming bands and stuff, there's no such thing as perfection. Nothing has to be perfect. Everything can just be what it is and fun, and you can work on it, and you don't have to be like super technically savvy to still write really good music, and just music that relates to you. So just don't be afraid.
Yeah, I love it, man. That's awesome.
I say you just do it. Don't worry about like the technicalities or the expenses of it, whether your equipment is sufficient or not for live performance or anything like that, whether your recordings are good or not. Just put something out there and get a vibe of whether you actually like it or not. I think that's mostly what it's about, is just getting, headfirst into what you want to be passionate about to see if it's something that you really like. And stay in tune. I think that's a
Yeah.
Stay in tune and
Get a tuner pedal.
if there's
And
one thing
don't
you
be an
should be
asshole.
concerned about with, is staying in tune. But other than that, just kind of give it your all, but ultimately just, if you're kind of questioning whether or not you should, just go ahead and do it.
Worst
Yeah.
thing that happens is someone doesn't like it.
Yeah.
And you'll be like, all right, cool.
Who gives a fuck?
whatever. I do. Like, it doesn't matter. Treat it like a journal.
That's good advice, guys. Thank you so much. And thanks for coming on the show. Thanks for talking to me. I'll be on the lookout for the new EP. What is it called?
Scars Like Chains.
Scars Like Chains by Still
Yeah.
Here. Make sure you guys spin that as much as possible. Check it out. And we'll be looking forward to seeing you with Terror on October 4th. And then at the end of October in Gainesville, Florida at the Fest.
For sure.
So thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks for having
Thank
us, man.
you. This has been
This is
super
awesome.
cool. Thank you.
Awesome. No problem. All right. Peace.